1993. A whistle on the soundtrack. A flashlight finds dust in the dark, and two agents walk into the unknown. We're digging into the first 5 seasons of The X-Files, before the move south and before the second life, to pull out freaky details you probably didn't clock the first time. We'll name the episode, the season, and the odd choice that made it iconic or strange. Short and simple. What aired, what they tried, why it worked, or glitched. If the 1990s were your spooky sweet spot, hit subscribe. Let's open the file. Number 15. The theme was an accident. Mark Snow kept. 1993. If you close your eyes, you can map the show's mood from that sound alone. Skepticism in the low notes, awe in the whistle, danger in the echo. Composer Mark Snow stumbled onto the echo that defines the theme when a keyboard effect looped through his studio speakers. He stacked a simple piano figure, that airy whistle, and a soft beat, then refused to overcook it. Fox initially pushed for something bolder. Snow and the producers kept the chill. The result wasn't just a tune, it taught you how to feel before the cold open ended. Rewatch any early episode and notice how that sound buys the show silence. Fewer lines, more dread, better TV. 4 notes, instant goosebumps. Number 14. Squeeze. Built a monster you couldn't shake. 1993. Eugene Victor Toombs crawls through vents, hibernates for decades, and eats livers to survive. He shows up in Squeeze and returns in Toombs, giving the series its first recurring villain outside the mythology. What made him stick wasn't just the body horror. It was the apartment nest, the bile yellow eyes, and the way he moved like a rumor. The show discovered it didn't have to go cosmic to be terrifying. It could set the camera down the hall and make your own building feel unsafe. That grounded fear became a blueprint for a dozen classics. The monster lived next door. Number 13. Ice turned budget limits into pressure. 1993. The episode also sneaks in a thesis. Science is a light, but fear is faster. Arctic isolation, a parasite in core samples, and a base full of suspects. A classic bottle episode. Shot like a stage play with tight frames and slow pans, it wrung paranoia out of space and breath instead of effects. It also locked in the Mulder-Scully trust dynamic, hand checks, eye lines, and the decision to lower the gun when the math says, maybe don't. Fans quote mythology, but episodes like this taught the show how to be scary in a single room. Close the doors, cut the power, let the actors do the rest. Paranoia in a petri dish. Number 12. Humbug. Proved the show could laugh in the dark. 1995. Comedy didn't dilute the fear. It sharpened it by contrast, like a grin in a morgue. Up to this point, the series wore a straight face. Humbug invited black comedy into the tent, literally, with a community of sideshow performers playing themselves. The scripts learned they could bend tone without breaking the spell. That door opened into later oddities like War of the Coprophages and Jose Chung's From Outer Space, episodes that smirked while still landing a chill. Watch how Mulder and Scully adjust. Their deadpan becomes the punchline, never the puncher. Tone control like that is rare on network TV. Scared and smirking, same hour. Number 11. Gillian Anderson's pregnancy rewired the mythology. 1994. When Gillian Anderson became pregnant in season 2, production could have hidden Scully behind potted plants. Instead, they wrote an abduction, tied it to medical tests, and let real life bend story. The show gained a spine, trust bruised and rebuilt, science tested by absence, motives questioned in whispers. It also solved a schedule problem without insulting the audience's memory. Suddenly, the conspiracy had a heartbeat and a cost. Real life bent the story. Number 10. The Host put a sewer spawn on network TV. 1994. The grime on the lens turns the whole hour into a smell memory. A fluke-like humanoid with a lamprey mouth stalks a city through pipes. The creature suit shot in Vancouver's industrial underbelly. became nightmare fuel you could practically smell. More important than the teeth, it proved the show could push body horror at 8 p.m. and still win the night. Any series can be gross. Few can be gross and hypnotic. This did both and made you eye every manhole cover for a week. Sewers, teeth, ratings, gold. Number 9. Clyde Bruckman won an Emmy by whispering, 1995. When the show stops running and just breathes, it's undefeated. Peter Boyle plays a weary insurance salesman who can see how people will die. The hour balances bleak jokes with a soft ache. It earned Emmys for writing and acting by going small, where other shows go loud. The quietest beats land hardest. A burger wrapper prophecy, a half smile that says everything, a final kindness you don't expect. It proved the series could hold tenderness and terror in one palm without dropping either. If you show this to a skeptic, they usually get it by credits. Death gently predicted. Number 8. Home was so disturbing Fox hit it, 1996. The episode's hush, no score in key moments, does half the damage. A rural family secret, a baseball field crime scene, and an hour that felt like it should not be on at 8 p.m. Home aired once in prime time and then vanished from rotation for years. The craft is undeniable. The lighting, the sound, the slow shove of the camera. But the discomfort is the point. It's the moment the series proved there were lines it would cross and also one it wouldn't. Replay. A monster of the week that became a network policy. Too dark for prime time. If this is scratching your spooky itch, hit subscribe. Coming up, Navajo Code in a cliffhanger, a cockroach comedy, and the day Vancouver turned into black oil. Number 7. The Navajo cliffhanger used real language and voices. 1995. Hearing real words carry the key makes the conspiracy feel borrowed from a world that exists without you. The Season 2 finale, Anasazi, ends with encoded files and a boxcar full of bodies on tribal land. Navajo code talkers and language sit at the center of the solution, with voice actors and consultants brought in to ground the story. The cliffhanger asked viewers to lean in and listen, not just gasp at flames. Bigger lesson, the show's mythology played better when it borrowed real history and let it keep its weight. It's not just aliens, it's archives, history, inside the mystery. Number 6. War of the Coprophages made roaches funny and scary, 1996. It's also a stealth Mulder-Scully romance beat, banter by phone that says more than a kiss would. Mulder spends a night in a small town besieged by cockroaches, while Scully solves half the case over the phone. Darren Morgan's script plays faux science straight, catalogs human panic with a grin, and still leaves you checking your floorboards. The last gag, a roach on the lens, breaks the fourth wall without breaking the spell. It's a comedy that respects fear and a horror hour that respects jokes, which is why people rewatch it like comfort food. Call it the rare monster that makes you laugh at your own jump. Laugh, squirm, repeat. Number 5. Pusher turned willpower into a weapon, 1996. The camera does the hypnosis too. Closer, closer, until your shoulders rise. A soft-spoken antagonist named Robert Patrick Model convinces people to do what he says, up to and including ending their lives. The final Russian roulette face-off is pure white-knuckle television. No effects, just breath, eyes, and a dot of sweat. It's a masterclass in how to stage power without a single beam of light. Mulder's stubbornness meets Scully's focus, and the coin flips in slow motion. Rewatch it with the sound low. It still works. Mind over trigger. Number 4. Jose Chung broke the show on purpose, 1996. You can screenshot almost any frame and it reads like a footnote to itself. An author interviews witnesses to a supposed abduction, and every retelling contradicts the last. The episode parodies itself, the genre and the act of truth-seeking, while landing an eerie grace note anyway. It's not just meta, it's generous, letting every perspective be ridiculous and true at once. Mulder and Scully become characters in a book about characters who can't agree on a story. Somehow the last shot still haunts. The truth edits itself. Number 3. Vancouver built the mood, then they left, 1993 to 1998. Even the rain became a prop, reflections that double the lights and hide what's behind you. The first 5 seasons shot in and around Vancouver. Rain-slick alleys, misty forests, concrete underpasses that looked like secrets. After the 1998 feature film, production moved to Los Angeles, changing the texture overnight. Same series, different sky, and you feel it in the light and the way night falls. Vancouver wasn't a backdrop, it was an accomplice. When the show moved, the conspiracy felt warmer and a little less damp, which changes how a scare lands. The forest was a character. Number 2, Paperclip hid the conspiracy in a real place, 1995. Filing cabinets as monsters, every drawer a mouth full of names. The 3rd season drops into a Cold War past through the abandoned Strughold Mining Company and a vast records facility. Night shoots inside industrial tunnels and file rooms made the conspiracy feel heavier, like steel you could touch. Mulder's family history dovetails with a paper trail stamped in metal drawers, and the myth turns solid for an hour. You can hear the weight when a cabinet slides. It's an archive episode that moves like an action sequence. Conspiracy with fingerprints. Number 1, Fight the Future was a bridge, not a break, 1998. Bigger sets didn't swallow the characters. They just gave the paranoia longer hallways. The 1998 feature film slotted between seasons 5 and 6, expanding the black oil lore and staging set pieces the series could not afford on a weekly budget. It didn't reset the series. It connected dots and raised the ceiling for what came next. In the theater, the X on the screen felt 10 feet tall, and the show came back with bigger toys. Think of it as one extra-long episode with a louder sound system. The file stayed open. The frame just got wider. Same file, bigger frame. That's the first half X-Files story. Accidents that became signatures, constraints that became style, and a monster show that smuggled philosophy into prime time. If we missed your favorite freaky detail from 1993 to 1998, drop the episode, the moment, and why it stuck. We'll back you up. If the 1990s are your spooky home base, tap like and subscribe. Because with Box Set and Chill, the 80s and 90s never end.